biological anthropology or the physical anthropology. So what is biological anthropology or physical anthropology? What does it deal with? What does it deal with? It deals with the emergence and evolution of man. Emergence and evolution of man, and it is also concerned with the variation. It is also concerned with the variation. So for understanding this, it will be utilizing the content from different disciplines: genetics, population studies, genetics, population studies or population biology, and epidemiology. ठीक है, बस. Now you people are preparing now. It appears to be ठीक है, easy. Biological anthropology is very easy. We can reproduce it. We can replicate it. ऐसा सोचते. It is indeed easy, but the thing is, as the volume increases, as your syllabus increases, as the quantum of your syllabus increases in anthropology, and also with respect to other GS subjects, what exactly is biological anthropology? You may not be in a position to recollect it. Yes or no? Now we have dealt yesterday only one topic, biological anthropology. It is very easy for you to recollect it. Just imagine, you have studied a lot of history, art and culture, many things. Many things. Is it that easy to recollect? Is it that easy to recollect? No. So you have to prepare a skeleton. This is the skeleton. Yes or no? Yes or no? If you prepare a skeleton, emergence and evolution, variation, and for understanding emergence and emergence and variation, it will be using the understanding of different disciplines. Here we use the paleology or fossil studies or the paleontology. This is the structure. This is the structure. What I mean to say here is, if you are in a position to at least recollect the skeleton, you can write the answer. Rather than trying to recollect the what exactly is the answer, sir ने क्या पढ़ाया था, हमने क्या पढ़ लिया था, rather than brainstorming on it, it's better to recollect the skeleton. Which is easy? You tell me. Skeleton. Yes or no? So after finishing a particular topic, what you people have to do is, you prepare a skeleton. And you just feel the difference. When you are writing the answer, anyhow this weekend you are having a test. Every weekend you have a test. Monday to Friday classes, Saturday will be a test. Do you know that? Saturday will be a test on whatever syllabus we have covered. Use this technique. Use this technique of the skeleton. Even in answer writing of your general studies papers or your optional papers, first 1 minute after reading the question, the first 1 minute you have to dedicate to the skeleton. क्या लिखना है? Now if you are having this skeleton, you are filling the details. Have the skeleton, fill the details. हो गया. सर आंसर राइटिंग प्रैक्टिस करना है, इंट्रोडक्शन प्रैक्टिस करना है, बॉडी प्रैक्टिस करना है, कंक्लूजन प्रैक्टिस करना है, वी नीड टेस्ट सीरीज. यू नीड टेस्ट सीरीज फॉर प्रैक्टिस. बट इस टेस्ट सीरीज में क्या लिखना चाहते हो आप लोग? व्हाट आर यू गोइंग टू राइट? What you are going to write is, first of all, you should have that skeleton. After After having a skeleton, fill the details. That's the answer. Give an introduction, give a conclusion. हो गया बस. That is how you have to manage. Because people come to me, sir, we are not able to write. I am not able to recollect. So the first thing what you have to do is, as a part of your preparation, whenever a particular topic is finished, you people have to make the skeleton of the topic. Because it's easy to recollect the skeleton. Yes or no? Is it easy to recollect all the dimensions of the topic? Skeleton is easy. Is skeleton easy? I guess skeleton will be easy. So after skeleton, fill the details. Bas. That is how you have to prepare. This is how you have to prepare. Whenever you are revising, what you have to revise? Skeleton revise kar lo. Skeleton revise kar lo, it will be easy for revision also. So everything depends upon the art of your notes making. I am dictating it. How well you are writing it, not in terms of clarity, the sequencing. The sequencing means the linkages. The same sequencing and linkages is expected by the examiner also. That is the art of answer writing. It's not any robotic science. It's not any robotic science. Got it? Now, biological anthropology is done. Next, cultural anthropology. So, what are the four field approach? Under four field approach or the four branches approach, what are the other branches? Biological, cultural, biological, cultural, archaeological, linguistic. Yes. You may be coming across ethnology also. You may be coming across ethnology. Frankly speaking, cultural anthropology has three branches. Cultural anthropology has three branches. One is the archaeology. The next is the linguistic and ethnology. Ethnology itself is called as cultural anthropology. Ethnology itself is called as cultural anthropology. Got it? These two are indeed the sub branches of cultural anthropology. The archaeological anthropology or the archaeology, the linguistic studies or the linguistic anthropology, and ethnology. Ethnology itself is considered as cultural anthropology. So, if at all if you get a question, ethnology, don't confuse, write about the cultural anthropology. Okay. Now, we will be explaining these three aspects. The archaeology, linguistics, linguistic anthropology, and the ethnology or cultural anthropology. Am I clear with the distinction? Am I clear? All of you? Okay. Now, archaeological anthropology or archaeology. Archaeological anthropology or archaeology. You might have seen archaeologists, archaeology. Yes or no? What they do? Excavations. They do excavations. Why? Why? To reconstruct the past. Yes or no? What archaeologists do? They reconstruct the past. They reconstruct the past. Yeah, you can. Reconstruct the past. Past is static or further any change, cultural change? Past. Past. Is it static or there might have been change? Change. Change. So, archaeologists, they study the past and they identify the cultural changes that have happened. They identify the cultural changes that have happened. In addition to the cultural changes that they reconstruct the cultural, they identify the past, they reconstruct the cultural changes. They reconstruct the cultural changes. In addition to reconstructing the cultural changes, they also identify what led to these changes. What led to these changes? What led to these changes? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. So they identify they reconstruct the past. They reconstruct the past. They identify the cultural changes over a period of time or in the past. And what led to these changes will be identified. Now, if you take history, written history, history is what we have, some written sources. Yes or no? Yes or no? Written sources, we just have 5,000 years of history. Historical sources or the written records are just 5,000 years old. Archaeology will be interested, archaeologists or archaeological anthropology is interested in the period prior to 5,000 years, where we don't have written history. Where we don't have written history. This 5,000 period history is the period, 5,000 year period is the area of interest of historian. Is the area of interest of a historian. Whereas archaeologists, they are interested in the time period prior to this 5,000 years. Prior to this 5,000 years. That is the period where we lack the written historical records. So they are basically interested in the period with no written record. Basically, they are interested in the period with no written record. So the period with no written record is generally called as prehistory. It's called as prehistory. So archaeology is basically interested in prehistory. Archaeology, first of all, identifies to, it will try to reconstruct the past, changes of the past, and also what led to these changes, and the time period of their interest is 5,000 years before, with the period with no written record. That is what we call as prehistory. Okay. In addition to prehistory, there is something called as historical archaeology. Historical archaeology. This is prehistory is one part of archaeology. Prehistory is one part of archaeology. Prehistory is one part of archaeology, and we also have something called as historical archaeology. Historical archaeology. Historical archaeology. So historical archaeology, it studies the people with written records. It studies the people with written records. Written records, and they employ the method of archaeologists. They study the people with written records, but the method employed is of the archaeologists. So they employ the methods of archaeologists. This is another branch of archaeological anthropology. Yes or no? ठीक है. I told you they will be reconstructing the past. They are interested in reconstructing the past. Yes or no? A past reconstruct करके they are identifying the cultural changes. What led to these changes? फायदा क्या है? Ultimately, what they want to show? Evolution of man. Biological evolution or cultural evolution? Cultural evolution. Cultural evolution. They want to show how the changes have happened. These archaeologists, they want answers for some questions like when tool making has started. By understanding the past, by reconstructing the past, they want answers for certain questions. They want answers for certain questions like when the unique character of humans, of tool making. Do you have any species with tool making? Any animal species of tool making? Tool making is unique to humans. These archaeologists, they want answers for when actually this tool making has started. Because tool making, after humans started tool making, the way he evolved has completely changed. Yes or no? Tools. With tools he started hunting. Hunting के बाद क्या हो गया? मजा आ गया hunting करके. It's not about मजा, it's about the food. He had access to more protein food. Yes or no? Once he started utilizing the tools, lot of time is saved. Just imagine, no tool, nothing. You want to catch a rabbit, can you? पूरा दिन चक्कर काटना पड़ेगा. मिल सकता है, नहीं भी मिल सकता है. Or if you are having a tool, just aim it and throw it. Hunt it. लग गया, आओ, रोस्ट करो, खाओ, सो जाओ, उठो, उठने के बाद क्या करना है? लीजर. लीजर. What will you people will do in leisure? Now you people are not having leisure, the UPSC aspirants, I know. If at all if you are having a leisure, what you are going to do? रिलैक्स का मतलब सो जाना, वो तो हो गया, खा लिया, सो लिया, उठ गया. उसके बाद progression in other fields, exactly. Like you may be interested in designing your dress, you may be interested in your hairstyle or some arts or some crafts or some painting. Yes or no? Yes or no? Until then you are busy only with food gathering. Once food gathering became easy, other elements, you will be focusing on other elements, and other elements, other cultural elements will be evolved. Yes or no? Be it dancing, painting, tool making, pottery, arts and some craft making. Yes or no? So will culture evolve? Will culture evolve? Yes, definitely cultural elements will be evolving. All is because of tool making. So shouldn't we be interested when actually tool making started and how the tools have changed over a period of time? We have Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic, old stone ages, very big size boulders, and as time progressed we have microliths. So tool making has progressed. Rather than carrying a heavy boulder in your hand and hunting something, microlith, tag it to some, fix it to some bone or some bamboo, a microlith, have it, aim it, throw it. लग गया? हाँ लग गया. आराम. So tools also changed. Archaeologists are interested in how this have changed? How cultural changes have happened? So basically, archaeologists, they try to answer, they want this, they try to seek answers for some questions like when this tool making has started, when this is a unique characteristic of in the animal species what we have, that is a tool making, when this tool making has actually started, when this tool making has actually started, when agriculture has started, when, where and why, when, where and why tool making started, when, where and why agriculture started. When, where and why agriculture started, when, where and why people began to live in cities. Why should we seek answer, madam, for question like when agriculture started? What is the advantage of settling down at a place? Evolution of Janpadas, Mahajanpadas. Okay, good. Yes, madam. What is the advantage of agriculture? क्यों करना है agriculture? What is the significance of agriculture? Food तो hunting में भी मिल रहा है, नॉन वेज भी मिल रहा है अच्छा खासा, stable diet, stable life. So a stable life, we can store the food grains. Good. Yes. Hunting cannot be possible every time. Yes. Hunting cannot be possible every time. Yes. अरे क्यों रोज जाना है हंटिंग को? भाग दौड़ का जिंदगी क्यों? If you are practice agriculture, you have the surplus, you have the produce for some months. Again, you can use this produce during the other hostile climatic conditions. Yes or no? Stability of food is ensured. Stability of food is ensured. You work in the field for 15 to 20 days, have the food for 5 months. Whereas hunting, you have to go on a daily basis. Hunting, you have to go it on a daily basis. So will you get more leisure if you practice agriculture? Yes or no? You will be having more leisure if you practice agriculture. If you are having more leisure, what happens? More time you spend on other activities. Yes or no? If you are spending more time on other activities, the other elements of the culture, will they evolve? Yes or no? That is how cultures evolve. That is how cultures transform. Archaeologists are interested in identifying these elements. How cultures have changed over a period of time. What led to these changes? Got it? Got it. So basically, they are interested in seeking the answers for questions like when, where and why tool making started, when, where and why agriculture started, when, where and why cities started. Because cities led to civilization, the emergence of a civilization. What is civilization? Civilization is nothing but the sophisticated life form, having good quality roads, trade, measurements, whatever it may be. Those are civilizations. So do we wish to know when, where and why civilization started? When, where and why, how these civilizations have changed over a period of time? Yes or no? So all these aspects are the area of interest of the archaeologists or the archaeological anthropologists. Yes or no? Okay. And for this purpose, for identifying these when, where and how this tool making started, when, where and why agriculture started, when, where and why we can see the emergence of cities, these archaeological anthropologists or the archaeologists, they take the assistance from other disciplines. They take the assistance from other disciplines. How? टूल्स कहाँ पे मिलता है आपको? टूल्स वॉरेन में सर्च करेंगे, डिगिंग करेंगे, ठीक है, वॉरेन में, ओल्ड राजेंद्र नगर दिल्ली में डिगिंग करेंगे, मिल सकता है। अरे वॉरेन तो बहुत बड़ा है, कहाँ पे करेंगे डिगिंग? सिंधी पार्क, गोल चक्कर, नियर करल बाग मेट्रो, कहाँ पे करना है? कहाँ पे मिल सकता है? So for this they take the assistance of the geologists. Archaeological anthropologists or the archaeology, they take the assistance from other disciplines like geology, For example, to guess to where to dig the evidence for early tool making, they rely on the geologists, because geologists can identify where can be the early sites of human occupation, because they discuss about erosion, uplifting near the earth surface. Geologists, they know about erosion, they know about the uplifting of the earth surfaces. So based on this knowledge, you can identify where actually the early people might have lived. There were excavations at Leaky and team at Old Y Gorge. I will discuss this in the future classes. Old Y Gorge, it's a gorge. They want to identify the hominids. कहाँ पे मिल सकते हैं hominids? So based on the geological knowledge, they started digging in the Old Y Gorge and they have found the evidences. Similarly, archaeologists will be taking the assistance or the knowledge from geology for identifying the sites where we can find the early human settlements. Got it? And for identifying agriculture, when and where agriculture started, when, where and how agriculture started, they use the techniques of the chemistry. Got it? And for identifying when, where and how the emergence of cities have undertaken, they take the help of the historians, the travelers, the geographers, the travelers, the geographers. Geography is different, geology is different. Yes or no? So these archaeologists, they will be taking the assistance of the geologists to identify when, where the tool making started, because they have the knowledge of erosion, uplifting. They take the knowledge of the chemists for identifying the agriculture. They take the help of the historians, the travelers, the geographers about the emergence of the cities. ठीक है? This is archaeology or the archaeological anthropology. This is archaeology or archaeological anthropology. ठीक है? Now I'll tell you the skeleton. Can you tell me the skeleton? What does archaeology deals with? Past. Reconstruction of the past. ठीक है? Reconstruct the past, identify the now. Reconstruct the past. Basically, they are focusing on the time period more than 5,000 years back. That is mostly they are interested in prehistory. ठीक है? And reconstruct the past and they try to identify the cultural changes. Next, what led to these changes? What led to these changes? So, in addition to prehistory, what is the other aspect of archaeology? Historical archaeology. Next is the historical archaeology. They also study the period with written history, but methods are archaeological methods. Historical periods plus archaeological methods. ठीक है. Next most important thing is they try to seek questions for where, when and why. Where, when and why. Where, when, why tool making started. Agriculture started. Cities emerged. And for seeking answers to these questions, they'll seek the help of other disciplines like geology, chemistry, geography, history, and also the travelers accounts. This is archaeological anthropology, where you have to stress, if at all there is a question, where you have to stress. In all these points, what you have to focus more or stress more? Tool making. As an anthropology student, I am asking you, students, you people, what is the examiner expecting from you to identify here? Yes, everything is important. What do you think is the most important element? How it is written? Do you see cultural evolution or any other word is being used here?
What led to changes?
Cultural changes. That is emergence and evolution. Physical anthropology will be dealing with the biological anthropology will be dealing with the biological evolution. Cultural anthropology and the subdomains of cultural anthropology, we are concerned with the cultural evolution or the cultural changes. Got it? Got it? First of all, how cultures have evolved and how gradually they have changed. Are you following? You should have that precision, that thinking. Why are we reading this? Archaeological anthropology, identify the past 5,000 years, pre-history, identify the cultural changes, what led to these changes, tool making, agriculture, cities, emergence of tool making, agriculture, emergence of cities is the area of interest of archaeologists. हो गया 10 के लिए कितने देते सर आप ये आंसर को? बस ये जानना है आपको, यही करना है आपको? ना 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 ना. Examiner is expecting something more from you. Now you people ask me, sir conclusion क्या लिखना है? Conclusion क्या लिखना है? क्या लिखोगे? क्या लिखेंगे आप लोग? If at all there is a question in archaeological anthropology, what are you going to write? Does archaeological anthropology, after identifying these elements, is interested in understanding the cultural changes that have happened? After identifying the cultural elements with all these methods, with the help of all these methods, archaeological anthropology first of all identifies the past culturals and it focuses on the cultural changes, that is the cultural evolution that occurred in the human history or in the human evolution. यही है conclusion. क्या लिखेंगे फिर? Will examiner be impressed? This fellow has identified the purpose of archaeological anthropology. Yes or no? Yes or no? So that is the difference between a normal aspirant aspiring for UPSC and a topper. It should have that expert lens, not just mugging up the notes, not just mugging up the notes. You mug up the notes, you write all the points. Someone say she will also be mugging up the notes, but she will be giving this conclusion. Who will score better? This girl will score better. Yes or no? Yes or no? So that is how we have to identify, not just reading. You won't get this clarity in reading some PDFs or some material available in the market. I can challenge this. Can you, mister? Already you have seen some Telegram videos. Are you satisfied? Did you get this clarity? No. You will not get. You will not get. Okay? Write on the notes. Archaeology or archaeological anthropology. Archaeologists seeks not only to reconstruct the archaeologist seeks not only to reconstruct the daily life and customs of people, not only to reconstruct the daily life and customs of people who lived in the past, but also traces the cultural changes, and offer possible explanations for these changes. Now, archaeologists are interested in the societies which lack written records. Full stop. Lacking written records for study. Lacking written records for study. Archaeologists must try to reconstruct history from. Archaeologists must try to reconstruct the history from the material remains. Full stop and continue. Mostly archaeologists are concerned with prehistory. Prehistory. Now, there is a special branch within archaeology. Called as historical archaeology. Where it studies the people. With the written records. This discipline employs the methods both of archaeology and history. Archaeologists collect the material evidence from different parts of the world. This material evidence is analyzed and they try to seek answers to questions and they try to seek answers to questions. ठीक है? Write one below the other. When, where and why. When, where and why the distinctive human characteristic of tool making started. When, where and why the distinctive human characteristic of tool making started. When, where and why did agriculture first developed? When, where and why did agriculture first develop? When, where and why agriculture first developed? When, where and why did people first begin to live in cities? When, where and why did people begin to live in cities? Next. To collect the data, they need to seek answers to the above questions. To seek answer to the above questions. What questions are there? When, where and why tool making started. When, where and why agriculture first developed. When, where and why people started to live in cities. To answer the above questions, archaeologists use techniques borrowed from other disciplines. Archaeologists use techniques borrowed from other disciplines. ठीक है? For example, to guess where to dig for early tool making evidence. They use the techniques, or they rely, you can write like this: archaeologists rely on geology. Archaeologists rely on geology to tell them where sites of early human occupation, are likely to be found because of erosion and upliftment. ठीक है? Now, to infer when agriculture first developed, they use the methods originally developed by chemists. For example, we have carbon dating. Carbon dating is a method of chemistry rather than archaeology. Yes or no? Next, to identify when, where and how cities first emerged. Archaeologists may use the information from geographers, historians and others. Conclusion: archaeologists thus use the information in the present. Archaeologists use information from the present use information from the present and recent past in trying to understand the distant past. So this is the information you have. It depends upon how you present this information, depending upon the demand of the question. That is answer making, that is answer writing, the skill of answer writing. ठीक है. So in cultural anthropology, the first discipline of archaeological anthropology is done. Archaeological anthropology is done. Next is the linguistic anthropology. Linguistic anthropology. Linguistic anthropology. Linguistic anthropology. So linguistic anthropology we can study under three subheadings. One is the historical linguistics, structural linguistics, and social linguistics. Historical linguistics, the structural linguistics, and the social linguistics. Historical linguistics deals with the emergence of languages. Wait, listen. It deals with the emergence of the language. Are apes having language? Early humans, did they have language? You might have seen Tarzan movie. Ape Man. Is having language? No. His romance with Jane, something will be uttered. Yes or no? Is he having language? No. No, he is not having any language. Now, historical linguistics, they are concerned with the emergence of languages and the divergence of the languages over thousands of years. The divergence over thousands of years. The divergence of over thousands of years. Now we have language X. This language X have diverged. Say for example, Sanskrit language. From Sanskrit we can see the emergence of other languages. Hindi, what are Bengali, something. So from Sanskrit, other languages have emerged. Yes or no? So the speakers of this language originally had common ancestry. Can we identify? Yes or no? Even though there is divergence, from where it diverged, that marks the point of common ancestry. Yes or no? Yes or no? So historical linguistics are concerned with the emergence and divergence of the languages. Emergence and the divergence of the languages. Language is part of culture. Yes or no? What is Tyler's definition of culture? Culture is a complex whole which includes knowledge, belief, etc. So language is also part of culture. If language is changing, if language is transforming, that is also a cultural change. From this language has emerged. So from this culture, this culture has emerged. So did the culture change? There is a cultural change. There is a cultural change. So historical linguistics, they are concerned with the emergence of the languages and the divergence of the languages. We can identify the common ancestor from where they have emerged. Where man has emerged? From where? From Africa? From Africa, it seems. Can you identify the place of common origin of the human race? Or a few group of people? Yes. Because if this language and this language having similarities, this language is having similarities with this language is having similarities with this language. So they both, are they having common origin? Yes, somewhere. Can we identify? We can identify. This branch is called as historical linguistics in linguistic anthropology. This branch is called as historical linguistics in linguistic anthropology. Next is the structural linguistics. Next is the structural linguistics or the descriptive linguistics. Structural or descriptive linguistics. Structural or descriptive linguistics, they are basically interested in how contemporary languages differ, especially in their construction. How the contemporary languages, how they differ, especially in the construction, that is with the respect to the structure. Now we have Hindi. Hindi is spoken by which states? Haryana, Bihar, UP, MP, Rajasthan. But Haryana, their Hindi is a bit different from Rajasthan. Rajasthan is Hindi is a bit different from UP. Yes or no? Why? Why regional? If it is region, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? That is the area of interest of descriptive or structural. That is in their construction. How the differences? You are telling the regional impact. You are telling the regional impact. So all these will be studied. The descriptive elements or the structural elements will be studied as a part of the structural linguistics or the descriptive linguistics. Okay. Next aspect is the social linguistics. Next aspect is the social linguistics. Language will be varying depending on the social context. Social linguistics they deal with the social context of language use. The social context of language use. आप बताइए, तुम बताओ. What I am expecting? That you tell. But the social context in which I am using it, मुझसे थोड़ा बुजुर्ग है, मतलब elder than me, आप बताइए. My age group, अरे तुम बताओ. Sometimes अरे तुम बताओ यार. Yes or no? What I am seeking? You tell. But the social context it is using is different. Yes or no? So this social linguistic is concerned with the social context of the language use. I cannot tell hi to everyone. You people, can you tell hi to everyone? Just to see. Your friends will be there. You go and tell to your friends hi, bye, hi, yaar, etc. Now you visit a doctor. Hi doctor, how are you? Will you tell like that? What are you going to tell? How are you going to wish him? Good morning, doctor. Namaste, doctor. Yes or no? Why? That is the social context in which language we use. will be varying. That is the area of interest of the social linguistics. So, linguistic anthropology can be studied under 3 heads. One is the historical linguistics, the structural linguistics, and the social linguistics. That's it. Sir, is there any change, cultural change or cultural evolution in this? Are we identifying anywhere cultural evolution, madam? Yes. How cultures change over time? Language, you are in the social context, language is changing. Over a period of time, language is changing. That change is nothing but cultural change or the cultural evolution. Yes or no? That's it. That's it. Identify like this, not just blindly mugging up, ratta marna. No. Vaisa nahi karna. Identify the crux. Why are we reading this structural anthropology? Why are we reading this linguistic anthropology? What is the crux of this? Okay? And you also have the structure here. This is the structure. Historical, structural or descriptive, and the social. ये 3 शब्द आपको, if you can recollect these 3 words, your answer is done. Because I am telling you this, all these problems you will be facing when you are writing the actual examination, mains examination or the test series. So, it is better to prepare in this way right from now. It will make a lot of difference. Okay? Right on. Anthropological linguistics. Linguistic studies, linguists, linguists, linguists study changes that have taken place over time, as well as contemporary variation, In biological anthropology also I have said the same thing. Emergence and evolution and variation. Same here also. Linguists study changes that have taken place over time, that is evolution, and as well as contemporary variation. Next item, historical linguistics hyphen are concerned with the emergence of language, and also with the divergence of languages over thousands of years. They are concerned with the emergence of language and also with the divergence of languages over thousands of years. Full stop. The study of how languages change over time and how they may be related is called as historical linguistics. Next line, historical linguistics typically ask questions such as did two or more contemporary languages diverge from a common ancestral language? Question mark. If they are related, how far back in time did they begin to differ? Did they begin to differ? Means, is there any divergence? If there is divergence, from what time there is divergence? This is historical linguistics. Next, descriptive or structural linguistics. They are interested in how contemporary languages differ, especially in their construction. Comma, they are typically concerned with discovering and recording the principles that determine how sounds and words are put together in speech. For example, a particular language might use the letters T and K interchangeably without causing the difference in meaning. There may be a particular language. They might be using that T and K interchangeably without losing the actual meaning. Say for example, we have an island by name Tutuila. Kukuila. So people may think Tutuila is different, Kukuila is different. Tutuila is different. Because the way it is spelled, it is different. But actually these two words are interchangeably used. Yes or no? So we have this in American Samoa. The island name is American Samoa. This is a practical example of what I am telling you. So Tutuila, Kukuila is the name of the island. So those local peoples know. For the new ones who arrive in that island, they do not know. Yes or no? So such aspects will be studied by the structural linguistics or the descriptive linguistics. Got it? What do you write? Interchangeably without causing the difference in the meaning. Full stop and continue. In American Samoa, Samoa, S-A-M-O-A, you will be coming across this word again. Margaret Mead, we study an anthropologist by name Margaret Mead. Samoan Islands. In American Samoa, one could say Tutuila or Kukuila as the name of the largest island. And everyone except the new visitor or a new anthropologist know that it is the same island. An anthropologist may be freshly arriving in that Samoa. One fellow will tell Kukuila. Another fellow will tell Kukuila. Tutuila. Anthropologist will be thinking, Tutuila is different, Kukuila is different. A newly arrived anthropologist. After that, after surveying that, after taking up this structural linguistics, after working on it, he will be coming to the conclusion that both are same. Yes or no? This is the structural element. or the descriptive element. ठीक है, ठीक है. Next is the social linguistics. Social linguistics is the study of how languages is used in the social context. Next, a social linguist is interested in social aspects of language. A social linguist is interested in social aspect of language, including what people speak about, how they interact conversationally, how they interact conversationally, their attitudes towards the speakers of other dialects, or languages, and how people speak differently, in different social contexts. Plural context. ठीक है. This is about social linguistics. This is linguistic anthropology. Okay. Next, what is the next one? Ethnology or cultural anthropology. Fresh page, madam, because you can add something, some skeleton. Ethnology bracket cultural anthropology. What are the purpose of all disciplines? I mean the sub-disciplines? To understand the change or the evolution. If it is biology, it is biological evolution. The cultural anthropology, that is linguistic anthropology, archaeological anthropology or cultural anthropology, is about cultural evolution or cultural change. Yes or no? So cultural anthropology deals with this cultural change. Cultural anthropology deals with this cultural change. Okay. So ethnologists, they try to seek to understand why people today and in the recent past differ. How people today and the recent past differ in their ways of thinking and acting. That is the culture. So they try to understand why people now and way back, means long back, differ. They differ in terms of their thinking and acting. Of late, I came to know a few words used in our society. Something millennials, it seems. Millennials. Are they using this word, millennials? Gen Z. जी यही है, क्या है पूरा? People like me who are born in 1980s. What's the difference? Is there any difference? Is there any difference? Yes? Difference between them? Gen Z or millennials? Is there difference? In the way they think? The way they act? Is there difference? There is difference it seems, madam. There is difference it means. People like me. Some people might be born in 1990s. Is there difference? There is difference. There is difference in the customer, in the way they think, the way they behave. So, is there any difference between the people who have lived 1000 years back and now? People who have lived 2000 years back and now? In their customary ways of thinking and acting? Yes or no? Cultural anthropology will be studying this. Cultural anthropology will be studying this. For this purpose, it will be, cultural anthropology will be focusing on the thoughts and behavior. It will be studying certain institutions like marriage customs, the kinship organization, the political systems, the economic systems. You have in your syllabus like marriage, family, kinship, economic system, political systems, religion. All these aspects will be studied as a part of cultural anthropology or ethnology. Yes or no? Yes or no? Why? To understand how people think and behave. Why there is change? What led to this change? So for understanding this, ethnology will be studying the marriage practices, the marriage systems, the kinship systems, the political systems, the economic systems, the religion. But political system is the domain of political science. Economic system is the domain of economics. Now we can see the overlap of other disciplines. We can see the overlap of other disciplines with the cultural anthropology. Yes or no? Yes or no? That's why there is a topic in your syllabus that relationship of anthropology with other social sciences. Is there a topic? 1.2? Is it 1.2? Yes. So there is some overlap with the other disciplines. Because political organization is dealt by the political science, economic systems is dealt by economic systems. So basically they are interested in the customary ways of thinking and acting, why there is change, why there is cultural change. So for these purposes they will be studying the cultural elements. They will be studying the cultural elements. Yes or no? Have you got it? Have you got it? So these cultural anthropologists, they are concerned with the patterns of thought and behavior such as marriage customs, kinship organizations, political systems, economic systems, religion, folk art, music, etc., 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 etc. And these ethnologists, they also study the dynamics. That is how cultures are changing, how cultures have changed, how cultures are changing. Is culture fast changing under globalization? Yes. You may get a question, globalization and cultural change. What are you going to write? You have to be creative enough. There is a cultural change. Globalization and culture change. What are you going to write? First of all, you have to know what are the elements of the culture. These are the elements of the culture. Arts, folks, arts, dressing pattern, everything are aspects of culture. Under globalization, how it is changing? Are political systems changing under globalization? Yes? Yes? No. Are changing political systems? They are changing, madam. Are the countries adopting democracy increasing or decreasing? Countries adopting democracy, are they increasing or decreasing? Increasing or decreasing? Monarchical states are getting destructed, and in their place democracies are rising. Why? Because those people who are under monarchy, they came to know about the values of a democracy because of globalization. Economic systems, are they changing? Marriage systems, are they changing? Kinship systems, are they changing? हो गया आंसर आपका. बट द मतलब इसका मतलब यह है कि there has been a change. There has been a change. But under globalization, the pace at which it has changed is at a faster rate. Globalization has the power of assimilation at a faster rate. Yes or no? Nowadays questions are framed like this. We should have proper understanding of the subject, or else you will not be a topper. Do you wish to be a topper? Do you? Why not? When we are competing for something, why not the best? Are you satisfied with a 764 rank? Why 764? Same time you are spending, same effort you are spending, same resources you are spending. If you are spending so much resources, why not the best? So use your brain properly, activate it. I told you, your brain is in hibernation. Your brain is in hibernation, your brain is in dormant stage, you are not utilizing it properly. Activate it, activate it. Think. You will get very good ideas. Correlate it. The subject what you learn, you correlate with the surroundings. Examiner is expecting the same thing from you. The subject or the fundamentals what you learn, how well are you correlating with the surroundings? How well are you correlating with the surroundings? Okay? So be prepared for such questions. I guess there were questions. Impact of globalization on the tribal societies. In society part, impact of the globalization on the family system or on the marriage system. Were there questions earlier? There were questions. Okay. Now these ethnologists, they study the dynamics of the culture. That is how various cultures are changing over a period of time. Now, anthropology, these we have something called as ethnographers. What is that? Ethnographer. First, let me tell you the ethnologist. Ethnologist will be studying the dynamics of the culture. The dynamics of the culture. It may be by observation or interviewing the people. By observation or interviewing the people. By observation or interviewing the people, he collects the information. There is a type of ethnologist called as ethnographer. Ethnographer. Ethnography of a tribe. There's a lot of works what I will be telling you in paper 2. There is one ethnologist called as ethnographer. What this gentleman or lady will be doing is, the group whom they wish to study, they stay with that group. That is, they will be doing the field work. They stay with that group because ethnologists will be gathering the information through observation or interviewing. One ethnologist, one type of ethnologist is an ethnographer. So ethnographer will be doing the field work. In future classes, I will be telling you about Malinowski, Radcliffe Brown. These gentlemen, they have done field work. They are ethnographers. So these ethnographers will be doing the field work and they will be identifying the customary behavior and thought. And they will be analyzing, they will be studying all the aspects of the culture. Marriage pattern, kinship pattern, economic systems, political systems, everything they will be covering, and they will be presenting a holistic understanding of that particular population group under reference. What they do is the holistic coverage of that group under reference is done with the help of the field work. With the help of the field work. With the help of the field work. Okay? So this is an ethnographer. So he will be staying with the group. He will be doing field work in that particular group. He studies the different systems, the marriage pattern, family pattern, kinship, economic organization, religion, political organization, and he will be presenting a holistic coverage of that group of population under reference, what we call it as an ethnographic study. Okay. Next we have one more category called as cross-cultural researcher. Ethnographer is done, cross-cultural researcher is done. So ethnographer will be researching a particular group of people. Say for example X. One ethnographer by name A, he studied X. One ethnographer by name B, he studied Y. C, he studied. Okay. R, S, T by D, E, F. So this represents a particular group, this represents a particular group, this represents a particular group. Cross-cultural researcher will be analyzing all this and he will be trying to identify the similarities. If you find any similarities between all the groups, they are universal. Those characteristics are universal amongst all the populations. He tried to identify the variations. If there are universals, why these features are universals in all the societies? If there are variations, why variations in all the societies will be researched by cross-cultural researcher. So ultimately the aim of cultural anthropology is to understand why people behave in a particular way. That is, why there is differences in the culture. So the similarities in the culture or the universals and the variations in the culture will be identified by the ethnography. Or not ethnography, ethnology. It may be by ethnography or it may be by cross-cultural research. So these ethnologists are interested in many aspects of customary behavior and thought, from economic system to political systems to art, music, religion, etc. Yes or no? So that's why there is a lot of overlap of this ethnology with other disciplines like political science and economics. So cultural anthropologists basically are concerned with the customary patterns and behavior of the populations. For that purpose they take up the ethnographic studies, and also they take up the cross cultural researches, and there is lot of overlap with the other discipline. Okay, that's it. That's cultural anthropology or ethnology. This is the 4-field approach of anthropology. What is the first one? Physical or biological, archaeological, linguistic and ethnology. ठीक है? You better use this whenever if there is a question on cultural anthropology, you have to write it as ethnology. You can just specify that cultural anthropology also includes the linguistic and the archaeology, but ethnology itself is cultural anthropology. It deals with the customary behavior and thoughts, how cultures vary, why cultures vary. Yes or no? Have you got it? Notes. Ethnology or cultural anthropology? I think you have already written. Ethnology, did you write anything? Write down. Ethnologists seek to understand how and why people today, ethnologists seek to understand how and why people today and in the recent past differ. In their customary ways of thinking and acting. In their customary ways of thinking and acting. In their customary ways of thinking and acting. Ethnology, also called, next point, ethnology, also called as cultural anthropology, is concerned with the patterns of thought and behavior, such as marriage customs, kinship, political organization, economic organization, religion, folk art, and music. Folk art and music. And the ways in which these patterns differ in contemporary societies. Am I clear? Until now, is it clear? Whatever is being taught, whatever is being dictated, are you okay with it? ठीक है? Next. Ethnologists also study the dynamics of the culture. That is how various cultures develop and change. Next. Ethnologists generally use the data collected through observation and interviewing of living people. Next. Next heading, ethnographer. Ethnographer. Ethnographer is a type of ethnologist usually spends a year or so. Is a type of ethnographer usually spends a year or so living with and studying the people studying the people Now this field work provides the detailed description of the customary behavior and thought. So he will be identifying through this field work, he will be identifying all the aspects of the culture. Okay. Next, cross-cultural researcher. Citing cross-cultural researcher is interested in discovering general patterns about the cultural traits. Hyphen, what is universal? Comma, what is variable? Why traits vary, and what are the consequences of that variation? Got it? This is the cross-cultural researcher. Last point. Ethnology overlaps with, since ethnologists study the customary thought, behavior and thought. Since ethnologists study the customary behavior and thought, so under this customary behavior and thought, what are they studying? Hyphen, keep a hyphen and write. Economic organization, political organization, arts, religion, music, hyphen, ethnology overlaps with other disciplines like sociology, psychology, economics, political science, arts, music and comparative religion. So there is overlap of cultural anthropology or ethnology with other disciplines: sociology, political science, economy, comparative religion. So then what is the distinctiveness or uniqueness? Interconnections, okay. There are political systems everywhere. There are economic systems everywhere. There are marriage systems everywhere. Yes or no? There are religious systems. Comparative religion will study. Psychology will study. Sociology will study. Yes or no? But the distinctive element of ethnology or cultural anthropology is, after studying this, it will be identifying the variations between the different cultures. That's the hallmark. Why such variations will be addressed. Got it? Other disciplines do not address this. That is the distinctiveness of anthropology, or in this case the socio-cultural anthropology. Okay, write that as a conclusion. But the distinctive feature of cultural anthropology is, its interest in how all these aspects, in a sense, marriage, family, economic, political, you can write in bracket, marriage, family, political, all these aspects of human existence, vary from society to society, in all historical periods, in all historical periods, and in all parts of the world. And in all parts of the world. Got it? That's it. That's the 4 branches of anthropology. Tomorrow I will be discussing you the applied anthropology. Okay? And also the relevance of the anthropology in the present era. In the contemporary society, how relevant is anthropology, and also the applied anthropology will be dealt tomorrow. Okay, thank you.